Hey guys, my name is Timio, and today I'm excited to say that we have finally gotten some new information about Rising Storm 2. If you've never heard of this game, it's the same people that brought us the original Rising Storm, of course, and Red Orchestra. Both games were set during the World War II time period, and they were brutally realistic. Basically every single weapon, and most people are going to be using bolt-action rifles, will one-shot the enemy. You hit them in the chest from 1,000 meters away, you're going to be able to take out that enemy with that one bullet, and the few exceptions to this rule are if you hit the enemy in maybe like the arm or the leg. Even if you hit them in those regions, the enemy is still probably going to die from that one bullet because of the bleed out mechanic. The entire game revolves around this realistic brutality. It's incredibly stressful, but it's also very rewarding when you're finally able to secure objectives and get kills for your team. And so the reason why I'm excited about Rising Storm 2 is that I'm assuming they're going to be infusing that same type of gameplay, but setting it during the Vietnam War. The tricky thing about this time period, though, and something that I was very curious about how the developers were going to tackle it, is that a lot of the infantry in this war were using automatic weapons. There were still the bolt-action rifles that they were using during World War II, but the reason why you still had that realistic one-shot kill during the Red Orchestra 2 and Rising Storm was because you were using weapons that were semi-automatic. If everyone was using assault rifles and only required one bullet to drop someone, I feel like that would be a little bit too hardcore. Yes, it would probably be realistic, but when everyone's able just to spray down range and one-shot you, things were going to turn into a stalemate, and they already did in the original Red Orchestra 2, and so I was very curious how they were going to be tackling the weapon balance, because I could only imagine that they were not going to be able to have that one-shot potential. And so the way that they described it is that they want to make it more skill-based. If you come into a conflict with someone, they want patience and accuracy and skill to be rewarded with their new shooting mechanics. If you flank and catch someone by surprise, you're going to be able to obliterate them. If you snipe someone from across the map using a marksman rifle, you're going to be able to take them out probably with that one bullet, but in a one-on-one firefight with an enemy infantry who is also using an assault rifle, it sounds like it's going to be more, not necessarily like your Battlefields or your Call of Duties, but it is going to require a little bit more time and precision to be able to take out your targets. The way that they describe the weapons is that they should be easy to use and understand, but you need to be calm under fire, but they're still going to be incredibly deadly. The only way that I could see this description working is either if the weapons don't one-shot, because I'm assuming if you're under fire, you're going to be taking at least a couple of shots to the body, or if the weapons just have an insane amount of recoil, and you need to be calm under fire to be able to reel it in and maintain that accuracy. I can only imagine it's going to be very similar to the way that the weapon mechanics work in Insurgency. Insurgency kind of fits that description. Yes, you can still one-shot people if you get a headshot with an automatic weapon, but for the most part, you're gonna have to put a couple of bullets in your enemy if you want to take them out from 100% to 0. It's still brutally realistic. If you've ever played Insurgency, it's gonna be right up your alley for that realistic gameplay, but it still doesn't have that one-shot potential like you do with the bolt-action rifles in Red Orchestra or in Rising Storm. And while of course this is just pure speculation, they haven't given us any gameplay or concrete facts on how everything is going to work, I can only imagine that to be the case. If it was as brutally realistic where everything was one-shotting, I feel like the game would turn into a stalemate and no one would want to play the objective, because as soon as you reared your head out from around a corner, you'd get lit up from 1,000 different assault rifles and immediately die, and of course, that doesn't sound like a fun gameplay experience. Only time will tell, but I'm still very interested to see how this new weapon system is going to play in Rising Storm 2. Another thing they're going to be changing is the squad system to make it less complex and obtuse. I tend to agree with this. Maybe the hardcore fans will disagree with me on this, but what they want is to be able to make it quite easy to join with friends, to be in the same squad, and initiate teamwork. This entire franchise seems to be built around team-oriented gameplay. If you do the whole lone wolf thing, you can be successful. It is still 100% possible. Like, that is the reason why there's the sniper class in the game. But if you want to work with your team and you want to be successful, you're gonna have to have that team dynamic going on. And while once again, they haven't gone into the exact details on what they're going to be simplifying, I'm just happy that they've recognized that this was a bit of an issue in the past games, and they're going to be taking the necessary steps to make some improvements in this category. One thing that I'm really hoping that they tweak in the upcoming game, though, is less of a reliance on the artillery system. I understand why they have mortars in Red Orchestra 2, because trying to play the objective without them would be nearly impossible on some of these maps. Some maps are just an open field. If you don't have a mortar system to back you up and take out the enemy in their trenches, there's no way that you'd be able to run out in the open for the good 20-30 seconds required to reach the next cover points. And so what I'm hoping for in Rising Storm 2 is that there's less of a reliance on the mortar system and mainly just better map design where you just have more cover to take advantage of and you're not running out in the open for an extended period of time. I understand that this was absolutely realistic during World War II, and I know how I was just praising these games for being realistic, but I will say that it gets very frustrating from a gameplay standpoint where you die over and over and over and over again to something that you can't control. Having an artillery strike land on your head pretty much out of nowhere, or there's really no way for you to get behind cover or into a building because you're behind maybe a barrel and you're getting shot at, it gets very frustrating when you die to that continuously. And so what I'm personally hoping for is that there's just simply more cover that you can take advantage of so that they can tweak it or tone it down in the next game with relation to mortars. I know that some people might completely disagree with me. They might say that this is what the franchise is known for. This dynamic is key for this series. But I strongly disagree. And so while I don't think it needs to be eliminated entirely, like if they want to keep it in there, I'm just hoping that they tone it down a little bit. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I just wanted to share the little bit of information that we've gotten about Rising Storm 2. I know it wasn't a lot, but it's made me even more excited about this upcoming game. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed. But yeah, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.